Hello, friends. It is story time. I am going to rant and cry about my life for like 10 or 15 minutes. That sounds too serious, actually. Different opening. Nah, I'm not going to redo the opening, but um, if you haven't seen it, I made a video on how to recover from like major losing streaks. And this is kind of like my own story about it, what I'm currently going through, what I've gone through in the past. So you kind of need to watch the last video for it to make more sense. So go watch it if you haven't. But this time, I'm just going to share some of my own experiences because people have mentioned that that has helped them in the past. And if I can talk about myself for a bit and help even just one person deal with like some of the mental stress of Dota, then happy to do so. So I won't recap this because it's just in the other video. But I think it's important to do a self-analysis. So for my current losing streak, a lot of it I think comes from infrequent amount of games. So I played about 200 in the last 6 months, which actually sounds crazy if you think about it. That's like a game a day, which for everything else, it's like, oh, spend an hour a day and you become a master, right? In Dota, I'm declining, right? It's kind of crazy. 200, some of you have probably done that in the last couple of weeks, which might not be healthy in its own regard either. I'm not here to judge, though. I've done that. But for me, it is much less than usual. So here is Dota buff. I was in college these days. You can tell I had a lot more free time. Then I graduated. I was looking for a job here. I went to California for a bit, and I didn't have a computer, or I had a laptop, but it wasn't good enough to like play Dota smoothly. So I just wasn't. Decided to go to grad school. Started around here. Started playing again. Woo! You can see immediate jump back into Dota, right? Here's where I decided to make the YouTube channel. So I finished up my finals and I bought a computer. I actually had one, but I made a new one to handle all the streaming and stuff. That's I used to make videos and stuff before, but my computer stopped being able to handle it. So I made a new one. Got to Immortal here, and then made a ton of videos, and that's where there's a huge gap. Oh no, this is actually my internship. My internship got shortened because of the pandemic. So this is me free doing a bunch of stuff, making videos, and then here's me interning, so I had no time and I was exhausted every day. Then the internship ended, back to school, more free time. Started a job around here. So you'll notice in the last year, though, from 2022, I have much less games than any other period in my life, really. Outside of like obviously huge breaks. So this has been a new challenge for me. Trying to balance all this. It still sounds kind of crazy, like I said, like 200 months. You still see like this is a decent amount of games, especially for maybe some of you watching who have even less time than me. I feel for you because this already feels like tough for me. And as a quote unquote high level player trying to keep up with other high level players playing a ton, this has been really tough to keep up my habits, good habits in Dota, like checking the minimap, time, all that. I think my understanding of the game was still good, especially when there weren't patches. And I think you can still see like decent win rates through here. But as like patches came out and the game was changing, and I was trying to like keep up with stuff, I really struggled. And there's a lot of losses in the last 3 months because of that. Part of that also, it wasn't just like a lack of time to play, but just how I was going to the games was also worse. I was going through a lot of mental and physical burnout. Because since the start of this year, my job has picked up and I've done a lot more travel for work. So along with that, I then had to move. So I moved from Illinois to Texas, and that plus the work trips has made me like really tired. I am tired of traveling so much. To deal with all the travel exhaustion and then coming back and having to like finish work and then stream and all that, I drank a lot of energy drinks. I was going through probably more. Actually, not as much as some people, so I feel better about that. I don't think my life was ever at risk, of like the amount of caffeine I was drinking, which if you drink too much, please, cut back. It's important. But I was just drinking enough to the point where like it wasn't affecting me very much. I wasn't like feeling more awake. I was just like existing, but like constantly like mentally like burned out. And like I wasn't sleeping well because I had the caffeine, but I wasn't feeling like more awake for a few more hours, because it was like every day I was drinking something. And that I think it was leading to a point where I was just like mentally a little like I was less than what I am right now because I cut them out. And I feel a lot better now, sleeping better, all that. I'm not saying you can't drink caffeine, by the way, or like energy drinks, everything in moderation. I still have some, but I haven't really been drinking them. So moderate yourselves. It's important for your health. But that's where I was at. And then content creation pressure. I don't mean to say this to like get your pity or anything, but I do want to be like very upfront, realistic with this stuff, because otherwise, if I'm not honest with my own self-analysis, I'm telling you all to do, then like you're not gonna do it, right? So content creation pressure, twofold for this. One, in terms of making videos and streaming. When I'm traveling so much, like I don't have time to do it, right? Because I get back from the travel, I gotta finish like personal errands, stuff like that, as well. And so like I tried to fit in as much as I can, but it still feels bad when I can't consistently make videos or I have to cancel like every other stream. Um, it makes me a little sad, and it stresses me out. But then there's also just like Dota itself, like still being good at Dota. I don't want to be the blind leading the blind. Um, to some extent, some of it stays the same, right? Like I said in the last video, like some Dota habits just stay. And you may have noticed a trend in recent videos, which it's more focused on like habits, things like that, rather than meta specific things, because I still have confidence in how I think of the game and like things I think are good to do when trying to improve at the game. But in terms of the specific meta, I feel more out of touch lately because I haven't been able to play as much. The meta's been changing, all of that. And so, like, I don't know, here's the most broken hero, guys. I've played 5 games of Dota. I put up 10 fingers, but whatever, Like, what do I know? And in fact, some of the videos, I even felt conflicted. For example, the Warlock one and the Dawnbreaker support spotlights, actually, I remember those. I think what I said in those videos was right. And I think, like, I have enough confidence in that, but I did not win a single Warlock game. I played like 8 to try to prove my points to myself before I make these videos, to make sure like I know what I'm talking about. I just lost every single one. 200 of this MMR is because of Warlock that I lost. I remember that. There's so many losses in a row. And again, it's like it's tough for me to make that call. It's like, am I wrong about Warlock? Like, can I still talk about Warlock and tell people about him, or am I just like lying to them? Or is it because I'm playing badly and I can't execute the things that I know are good? And that's where I think I am, rather than like my game analysis is off. Just like my physical habits of playing Dota are really bad. Checking time, keeping up with the mini maps, being in the right spots. I'm just forgetting to do things that I know are good. So that's why I still release some of those videos, but it does conflict. Gives me like conflict when I think about it. And that's why there's kind of been like a drop in videos, because I feel like when I lose this many games, it makes me doubt myself a bit more. So I can cut that off a little bit, and I try not to get too much in my head about content creation and just be like a Dota player too. But it's definitely there. It's something I struggle with. I do think I play worse on stream, but clearly like many of these games were on stream too, and I was still like able to win. So I don't think streamer pressure is new to me or anything, or content creating pressure, but I think combined with the lack of ability to play, which is like kind of new, like I said, to me, I've never had to travel this much. It's been harder to deal with, and it makes me enter the games with more pressure. Besides that, backing off on more fun, lighthearted stuff, I was playing a bunch of different heroes and roles for a phase because I'd lost like 600 MMR plus, and I was like, this is a good time to learn Offlane and some new heroes, so that when we eventually recover MMR and we have to do ranked classic, I will be more familiar with them. So I did do that, and I think it helped me improve as a player, but it did not help my MMR because I lost a lot of those games, and some of them were so bad. Oh my guys, I felt so bad in some of them as I'm feeding like 5 deaths in 10 minutes because I'm such a bad offlaner. And I'm getting like reported and like, oh man, I feel bad. Let me tell you, I've gone through those as well. But I think it made me a better player in the long run. So not too worried about it anymore. Now it's far enough in the past. We took a long enough break to feel better. So here's the calendar feature from the battle report. And I thought it'd be funny to overlay some of my work schedule just to show you guys what I'm talking about. So I moved to Texas at the start of June. So prior to this, I was like packing and everything, wasn't playing a lot either. Immediately had to go on a work trip. I was in Texas for less than like 4 days and had to travel out. And then I had to do it again. And then I had to do it again. So since moving to Texas, I actually spent more time out of Texas than initially it felt like. And it was tough because I would come back. I'm like, I sleep poorly at hotels. I get backaches from the airplanes and hotel beds and everything. So my sleep was bad. My like physically, I was feeling bad. My back hurt a lot. I actually just, well, we'll get to it when we get there. But like, it was building up here, and you can see I was losing a lot more games. Going to the next month, not work, family vacation. Happy I took it, had a lot of fun. We went to the beach, it was nice. But I wasn't able to play at all. And there was a level of stress with that I have with every family vacation nowadays, going back to content creator pressure, which is like, I go home for the big holidays and it's like, I don't know, a couple of weeks, that I can't do anything. And it makes me feel out of touch with the game, makes me feel out of place as a content creator. Which I don't know, it's conflicting. I recently bought a laptop to deal with this. So this is, I guess, jumping ahead of myself a little bit, but I bought a laptop to be able to stream when I go home and visit my family, for extended periods of time, which I had the time for. I just didn't have a setup for. So hopefully this laptop will help me be able to take vacations with less stress, but also maybe some work trips I can bring it. And I probably won't be able to stream or play on like poor internet hotel, but I can, or sorry, poor hotel internet. But I can maybe like watch games, download replays and stuff to like keep up to date with stuff. Then I did another work trip and then another work trip. So this month, especially, I played very little. Going into August, I played a little bit more. Did another work trip. Did another work trip. Into September, because we're now a little into September, another very long work trip, and then a very intense week at work that I was in the office for like very long hours. So played very little this last September as well. But hopefully that's going to change. Going back into like, how do we reset? I feel like I've taken my break from the losing streaks and everything, from the amount of time I haven't been able to play because of work stuff. I feel good in terms of like, we took a step back from having lost all the games. It will be a challenge because like I am out of touch. We're going to lose more. But I think my mentality is good from this break where I'm now at the point of like, I want to play Dota again. I spent some time playing other games too, because like I'd come back from work stuff and like I'm not in the space, guys, with like minimal sleep to try to play Dota. I'm just gonna lose. It's not gonna be productive. So I did other stuff to feel like I was taking a break. So I'm now in a better spot. I am excited to play. Like I said, stop drinking energy drinks as much. Mentally feeling not so much in like a fatigue spot. So I feel like I'm in a good spot to start playing again. We're gonna have to build habits again, but I think we'll be better off than trying to do that even just like a couple of weeks ago. I will try to watch more Dota. I hope this laptop is going to help me with that too. But on some of these work trips, I kind of slack off and just like don't do anything Dota related for a bit. But I think I'm going to try to be more effective with my time on work trips as possible. It's not always possible, but like watch more streams and stuff while traveling. And then I will go back to basics to like limit my hero pool and focus on my laning stage, all that. That is it for like recent stuff. Old things I have gone through, which I guess I've talked about in other videos, but in case you haven't seen them, I went through a breakup during some of this MMR. I don't think it was on that graph. No, actually it was. It was in one of the like the first graphs, the like all that stuff. One of those like 500 plus MMR drops is because I broke up with my girlfriend at that time. And even though I was the one doing the breaking up, it's still like an emotional event, So that affected me in my own life, and then into Dota, that affected me in Dota as well. Even though breaking up didn't affect my Dota skills, I still knew everything, right? But I'm just sad about it. Like I'm emotional and like, So like I'm not gonna play as well. And if you've gone through anything like that, whether it's a breakup or just something like emotional, depression, mental health, all that stuff, it's going to affect you. Other times I let my physical health slide. So actually that's something I was leading to. The hotels and the airplanes, my back has been hurting. I'm not that old, but like my back hurts like I am old. And I had went through some physical health issues before from playing Dota. I had very poor posture when playing to the point where my back, I actually lost like all feeling suddenly. I lost feeling in my like left arm and my left leg. I thought I was having a heart attack or something. I thought I was gonna die. So I went to like the student health office, all that. Turns out my posture awful. So I essentially had like a curve in my back, and my neck would be like too far forward. My back would be like all weird, whatever. I had a lot of back pain. So I had to go to like the doctor for a while. I had to be a lot better about my posture and everything. I started to feel some of that pain again recently because of all the travel and everything, I think. And it was hurting me a lot to just like stand and do dishes, things like that. Not trying to just complain about my physical health, guys, but like coming to Dota and I feel uncomfortable or like I feel like like it's not gonna help me play well. So that trying to be better about my posture and everything, which actually in some of these videos I still notice I have bad posture. I'm trying to be better about it. But that definitely got to me, and it's not a good spot to be. So please be careful of your own posture and your own health as well. Sleep, I'm a lot better on right now. But physical exercise, I'm not doing so hot. Definitely need to be better about that. In the past, that has also affected me. You know, times where I can feel my physical health really bad, not eating a lot, sometimes not my fault, like different medications affected my appetite. And I would just be like, I don't know, just be like in a weird spot of like having not eaten, so I'm like fatigued, even though I haven't done anything. You know, all this stuff comes into play. If you recently got sick or something, could be, you know, another case of that. Everyone goes through different things. I'll stop ranting about myself. It's really not meant to be a pity party, but I hope just being like honest about this stuff. I'm not trying to hide it, but just like I think it's important to be like upfront with this stuff. You don't have to share it with the internet like me, but for yourself, you know, take a look at your life. That's not meant like in a what are you doing with your life, you know, but like figure out if you're feeling good, if you're in a good spot, especially if you've been losing a lot of games. It can be a vicious cycle where you're in a bad spot. You go to Dota to escape, but you're losing a lot of games, and you're like putting a lot of value into those games. So you get into a worse spot. It's definitely a dark place to be. And for any of you out there, I hope you know you're not going through that. But if you are, take some time, please think about it. Try to get yourself in a better spot as much as you can. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. Therapy is great. Many people don't look down on, or they do look down on therapy, but it's very helpful. I talked to my therapist in college a lot about Dota. I would talk about games and things I want to do in my dreams and stuff. Helped me feel a lot better. Helped me feel very excited to play. You know, so if you can afford it, because I know that in the U.S. anyways, it can be very expensive. If you're a student in college, it's usually free. So take a look. Even if you don't think you need it, if it's free, go try it. It's only going to take a bit of your time, but I do think all this stuff is very important. I'm just here to help with Dota. You know, Dota's just a fun part of your life. It can be stressful, but like the actual life elements affect you everywhere else. So please take the time to think about them, to address anything you need to as best you can. And I hope it will help you with Dota. If it doesn't, still okay. Dota's just a video game, but it'll help you in real life. So that is enough about Zach's life advice. I'm not that old to really be giving advice. But that's what I've learned about Dota and life. So I hope it helps any of you. And if you just actually want more Dota information instead of my life story, you know, we have the videos for that. Go check those out. Okay, thanks for watching. I will see you all. Bye. Go talk to a therapist if you can. See ya.